What's going on, everybody? This is Zach Wilson, and this is the Major Keyz podcast. We're just talking to keyboard players about music life and everything in between. And today we have a special guest, Julian Wilson. What's going on, bro?
No relation. What's going on?
That's the thing. I'm like, but we know that?
No,
Do
I
we
know,
know
right?
that yet? Because
Do we really know? Are we
do
sure?
we?
Are we certain?
Yeah. So like, bro, how I came about you? Ashley Pointer posted you on her stories or something like one day. It was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, dude's killing, and like we have the same name, and I
Mm-hmm.
gotta like see what's up, So, and I'm like, bro, like dude's just, like yo, it's just the guy, like I'm like man, like super talented in my opinion, bro. But like who are me to be like the authority? But I'm like, yo, I was like,
Wow.
I'm like, yo, homie's just dope, bro. And so like I followed you, and like that was like maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago, and like we've just been like mutual supporters since then. So for everyone watching, this is the first time that we just met for real, like having like an in-person verbal conversation
Yeah.
10 minutes ago.
No, for sure.
So yeah. But no, this should be fun. But yeah, man, how goes life?
Life is good. Life is interesting. Um, I'm kind of in this like in between space and just life. I just finished school, so
Woo! Oh man. So tell me about that. You went to Berklee College of Music. So
yeah.
you're done.
So,
You're
should I
done.
just give an introduction real quick of
I
just
mean, like I was gonna, yeah, give me.
oh
I was gonna start from the top, and then like work our way up. But like well, let's just start from the top. How'd you? So yeah, the name of the hospital you were born at, social security number.
right? Okay, yeah. Last four digits or the whole thing? Okay.
No, we need the whole thing and your credit card front and back, the one that has the money on it. The, don't give me the
We're musicians. No, I'm kidding.
ah. But nah, man, how'd you get started playing and all that sort of stuff,
It's kind of a fun story. Um, I, everybody's like, I've always played the piano, that's always a thing. But yeah, I have always played, I think. My neighbors actually, shout out to Mr. Larry and Miss Joanne. They gave me my first keyboard when I was like little. I must have been like 2 or 3, and they gave me this. It was this old like Yamaha PSR keyboard. It was like 61 keys. It was cute, right?
bro?
Um, and I started playing on that. But my inspiration for playing was my minister of music, um, who I now have the pleasure of calling my mentor and all sorts of things. It's actually her birthday today. Um,
Dope.
but she was actually ordained as minister of music the same year I was born, like a month after I was born. And there's pictures of me. She had locks at the time, so there's pictures of me with like a shoestring on my head because I was imitating her. Like, because when she's like, she's so spirited when she plays, and like her locks would be swinging around, and she was just really into it, right?
Yeah.
And so there's pictures of me at 2 and 3 emulating that, and I would like turn on her CDs, and like I knew like where the kicks were, and I knew where like the different parts were. So like at a really young age, I was like picking up her stuff. Um, and it helped because like my dad was a music teacher, um and my mother, she sings and she was in bands and stuff, so I was kind of always surrounded by it.
Yeah.
So without really trying, I was just kind of falling into that space even as a little one. I definitely took piano lessons as a child, like from like kindergarten to like second grade, but then I stopped, and I actually played clarinet all through
Okay.
elementary school. Yeah, I
Okay.
stopped
All
playing
right.
piano altogether. um
Interesting.
yeah, and I played clarinet because my mother played clarinet, and so there was one in the house. I was like, why not? Um, then I stopped, and around fifth grade, I decided that I was going to like actually learn again.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, just very slowly, just learning, and obviously being at church helped a lot, and just again watching my mentor, because she didn't know that she was my mentor. That's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I sound just like her, or I can, and
Mm-hmm.
um just slowly watching her and picking up what she was doing subconsciously, I slowly began to realize that like you're really like kind of doing this.
Yeah.
And then, life has blossomed and, things have happened since then. But that's kind of the basis of it, really, is that I subconsciously watched her do her thing and she didn't realize I was watching. And then one day just popped out and here we are.
Bro, that's interesting. So you came from so you had a musical family sort of
Yeah,
vibe.
it's
What?
a musical family vibe. It's interesting because um it wasn't like a force kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of something that just kind of happened, I think. It wasn't I saw what I saw growing up was like my dad was big into like big bands. So like I grew up he had
Mm-hmm.
like Count
Yeah.
Basie big band or like every Oscar Peterson performance ever.
What does he
Um
play?
he plays sax actually.
Okay, yeah.
Um and so I grew up hearing that from him, but then I grew up hearing all sorts of stuff from my mom too, but it was never like, Julian, you're gonna play. It just kind of fell into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely music and art that runs in my family for sure.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. So like you say you started picking it back up in like say fifth grade. Or like, yeah. So did you know like, oh, this is what I want to do in life for real? Like when did that come about? Like, oh, I want to do music for real, like for a
Um,
profession.
I think that decision comes in waves almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think so in fifth grade, the reason why I started playing again in fifth grade was I sang for the first time with one of there was like a choir or something. Um, and it felt nice to actually be back in that place. 'Cause I wasn't originally like going to be a part of it, and then I ended up joining at the last second to like sing with them for this thing.
Okay.
Um, and I realized how much I was enjoying it so much more than band. Although I was like I could play the instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's when I realized that I was going to go take that keyboard out because it had been sitting in like a storage room. So I grabbed that same keyboard that my neighbors gave me, pulled it back out, and then beat the crap out of it. Like by the time it was done, like keys were smashed in half. Like it
Oof,
was like
boy.
I mean I gave it the business. Um,
All
but
61
yeah,
keys.
all 61 of them. It was unweighted. It was a good time. No sustain pedal. It was real. It was yeah. It was a moment. Um, but yeah, and I don't think I did it thinking I'm gonna do this. It
Uh-huh.
was something that I just felt led to do and that felt like what I should be doing, I guess, in that
Yeah.
moment.
Got you.
And nobody
So,
really had to push me to do that.
right. That's cool. That's cool. So like when is it like, oh, I'm gonna go to school to learn
Mhm.
like music? Like when is that?
I mean, high school, I by the time I was in high school, I was kind of working and like really kind of like starting to like kind of get out there.
Yeah, I was
Um,
like, so you what kind of gigs were there like when you were in high school? Or what kind of where are you from? You're
oh, I'm from
yeah.
Fort Washington, Maryland. I live right outside DC.
Okay, got you. Got you.
Um, yeah, so okay, I'll go back to timeline then.
Hmm.
Started playing at church around eighth grade. Um,
Yeah.
I was over a young adult worship team at the end of my freshman year, right?
Hmm.
Um, but around that same time, I started playing with my high school choir, um, who we were actually like we traveled like a lot. Like we played the White House twice, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we've
In
like
front of the
traveled.
president, or you were just at the White House?
President Obama apparently was upstairs. He couldn't come down because it was a public tour, but like I played like the grand piano that there's pictures like Michael Jackson sitting at. There's like the Steinway that was gifted to them. Yeah.
Wow.
In
Light
high
flex.
school.
Light flex.
It's crazy. Um
Yeah,
and
Obama was upstairs while I was on the keys, but
because
yeah,
so I've heard. Um yeah, like we've traveled like across country, done like festivals and things all over the place. Like um
And you're like 13, 14 maybe at the time? 15?
I would have been 14, 15 when I started that.
Woo. It's dope.
Um and the reason that came about, I was in ROTC originally and I wasn't in piano class. And I switched into this piano class and there was like 30 kids in the class. And so the teacher's like, why are you here? Pretty much. Cause he's like, my class is full. Why are you here? So then I played for him in front of the whole class. And then he puts me, I played, what did I play? I played Total Praise, I think, actually. And so then he goes and posts it on Facebook and tags Richard Smallwood. Great time, right? And so
Yeah.
then he adopts me into the choir, and so I started accompanying them. And that was a lot of the gigs that we did in high school, a lot of churches and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I eventually got involved with a organization that I work for now called Fame. It's a nonprofit,
Hmm.
and we did a lot more corporate stuff too, like Pepco, UPS, like a lot of corporate, political
Yeah.
gigs for sure, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Man. Cool, bro. Cool. So, so high school, you doing all this gigging, you played at the White House, all this sort of choir stuff, all of this and that. And so you go to the esteemed Berklee College. For context, I went to Berklee 5 week. I went to five
Okay.
week in 2014.
Okay.
But yeah, but anyway, I didn't end up going like for real. But
Hmm.
like the time that I spent there was great, and I still
Hmm.
have friends that I met there, and it's I learned a lot because it really opened my eyes to like
Yeah.
being into like the possibilities for being a full-time musician and like what music school is like too.
Hmm.
Like that gave me a taste. Like I went to Kennesaw State University for school and I graduated a few years ago. So you went to Berklee College of Music, and what actually was your major?
I majored in contemporary writing and production. I am a keys player, but I'm a producer. That's really kind of what I lean into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I majored in contemporary writing and production. What was my minor? It was a production minor. I don't remember.
I mean, hey man,
um,
as long as you log on and it says 100% complete, you
that transcript
whatever.
says conferred.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Berklee on a full tuition scholarship actually, which is
Yes, sir.
um
That's how you do it.
I don't and what's so wild about that. Um when I got so back to high school, there's a guy there that was 2 years older than me that I used to play drums with a lot. His name is Christian. And he went to Berklee 2 years ahead of me. And there was a lot of people from DC that I knew that were up there. And so it really wasn't on my radar until I traveled there January of 2019 when I graduated high school. And I
Mhm.
visited. I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool. And then I went and I met people there. And I met the man who did my actual audition beforehand without us
Okay,
knowing. Rest in peace to Jeff Ramsey. But
man. Yeah.
um, he ended up doing my audition. So we had a great time in the audition, had a great time in the interview. And then I just randomly opened the package and it was like they they worked it so that it wasn't labeled full tuition, but the amount was exactly what the cost of tuition would have been.
Wow.
That's how crazy it was. They worked it like they gave me two things so that it would total the tuition amount.
That's crazy, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah.
Real quick, you said Christian. What does he play?
Christian Sessoms, he plays drums.
I might have just met him. I
Oh,
might have just met. Was he in Atlanta for the
I
Berkeley City
I
Music
don't
Festival?
think he was. You met
I
I
met.
saw because I
I
saw
met.
you playing with like
I'm.
Will and Bobby and
I met this guy named Bobby. He plays
right.
keys. Bobby.
Bobby.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Cold.
Bobby's wild.
But yeah. Anyways, I met a drummer named Christian. It might
Okay.
it might be him, it may not. But like no, I played with Muhammad at this Berkeley City Music Summit.
I just saw Mama. Yeah.
It was but it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that's a dope story. So how was the music school experience for you?
Um, Music school experience was interesting. Shout out to the pandemic. Um,
Oh yeah. Yikes.
because yeah, so it's wild. The pandemic happened in the middle of my second semester. So they sent us home right after midterms my second semester, and I didn't go back until my fifth fifth semester. I finished a semester early, so I went back. It must have been my fifth semester. So I really only spent a semester and a half, and then a year up in Boston because I from 2021 I did straight through. I did fall, spring, summer,
Okay, yeah.
um, and then I was pretty much finished. But the music school experience, what's interesting about Berklee is that, and the reason why I vouch for it for certain people, but I vouch for it differently for others, is that it's a very industry, it mirrors the industry in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that whereas some schools emphasize, you'll be playing in bands and combis and that kind of thing, Berklee's very much focused on launching you as your own person in the industry, whatever that looks like. So
Okay.
you're not going to see as much. You don't see any big bands per se, unless the students put on a big band.
Right.
Um, but you do a bunch of shows, and you do. Um, it's definitely more of that kind of vibe, especially for me, because that's kind of what I want to go into.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of shows, a lot of performances, a lot of, especially this past year, the past year that I was there,
Yeah.
um, a lot of that.
Mhm.
Um, on top of doing your major. So the Berklee experience, I'm grateful for it. I think
Right.
the biggest takeaway is the network of people that I've been able to build. Because I'm watching my friends just do wild stuff
Yeah.
in the industry, and that's
Mhm.
really cool to see. Um, yeah, it was a mixed bag because the pandemic took half of it, but
Yeah, that is kind of so. Like when the pandemic, you were doing like FaceTime lessons or
on
like
Zoom.
Zoom lessons, and it's just like it's not really the same
Yeah,
sort of.
and because I mean you have your one-on-one lessons, but you're doing a lot of it's a ton of theory, lots of harmony,
Mm.
lots of yeah, I hated classical
Counterpoint, all
harmony.
that sort of stuff.
Counterpoint, yeah, you're doing
Black,
all of that, and then you're
black.
doing your major. And my major had me doing lots of productions and things in the house, pretty much. Um, right, and yeah. So pandemic. I mean, it was okay, but it would have been nice to be there. But I did get a lot of this past year that I was there. So I mean, ultimately, I'm grateful to have been and to have made the
Right.
mark that I made there. So
Yeah. Shout out to Theory. I remember it was like after like because first semester it's like bro, this is okay. This is easy. Like keys, modes, sharps, flat. Like like the easy stuff that like you know, and then it's
yeah,
like and then they start getting into all the I don't even remember,
you
but
start doing
there was like
figure
a
bass.
12 tone matrices, something like that. I'm like, no one listen. And like because
No.
I was like a jazz performance major, but like
Mm,
all of our classes weren't separated. Like when it came to theory and like RL skills and stuff like that, it wasn't separated.
mhm.
Like oh five, I'm like that's just a 251. Like y'all are overthinking this. Like it two
Yeah,
oh 5 of 5 and then like
yeah. Sub 504 down to. I'm like,
I'm like bro,
okay,
it's 251.
it's a two
Hey,
five.
hey,
It's just a 2 5.
let's call it a day. Come on.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. All the analyses on the top of the chart. Yeah, it's a lot.
man, and like digging in and just like, and then like like because you have to like SAT being like, oh no, this doesn't work because this can't move that way and this
Because
can't
the
move.
voice crossing yeah, good times.
I'm glad I'm done. I'm glad
Yeah,
I'm done,
you
and I
sound
got out right.
traumatized.
I got out December 2019, so right before everything went downhill, I got out.
Yeah,
And so like I had some friends who were still in school, and I'm like, y'all have to write papers for big band. I'm like, yeah, yikes. Well, hey man, I'm out of here. But it did suck. I mean, like the pandemic did kind of suck, but also it was it's a give and take. It was a give and take. So yeah, bro.
absolutely.
But nah, that's super interesting. So what's been up since you graduated then?
I've been taking a mental break.
Hey,
I've been taking a massive mental break.
yeah.
Um, yeah, doing all of that is hard. I taking 16. First of all, the way Berkeley's credit system works is wild.
Yeah.
So 16 credits is like 9 classes.
Yeah. And
So
then none of these are like on these are like
no,
classes.
these are classes. And
Classes.
ensembles only 1 credit. So I'm taking like all these other classes. So I to go fall, spring, summer and do 16 each, right?
And not to
On top
mention,
of
these classes are probably not. I know the walk. I know the walk. You got 160, and then like you got to go to Boylston, and then you got to go the other way. So like these aren't in the like. So just physically going to class too. So like yeah,
and then I lived off campus 20 minutes from the building. So that was a whole fun thing. Yeah, it just you get tired. And then because I was gigging so much outside of there and like I was doing agency gigs over the summer, so that eats up your time. And so it was just you get tired. I'm tired.
agency gigs is that like corporate gigs? Is that like weddings and
Corporate weddings, that's a huge racket in Boston.
okay,
Huge.
yeah. I just like we like here they're called corporate gigs,
We call it
but I
GB up there, but yeah.
that's what Muhammad calls it. Muhammad be calling it GB. So yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, so the scene of so you're is that like your main scene, like the corporate band
It was
sort
when
of
I was up
deal, or
there for
like
sure. I mean, the GB gigs paid my bills,
mm-hmm,
but I was doing a lot of just working with other artists because like I made it a point to like, because my ultimate goal is like to build artist relationships and being an MD for them and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was intentional about who I worked with this year and working with people who are really trying to push. An artist took me to Canada. We played at Osheaga in Canada this past summer. It's a
Yeah.
humongous festival. That's the kind of interaction that I'm trying to build with people. So those were the kind of gigs that probably didn't pay or didn't pay much, but
Mm-hmm.
relationship wise were useful. But on the side, every weekend I was gone somewhere playing somebody's wedding and playing Taylor Swift and
Bro,
shout
Uptown Funk. Uptown
Uptown
Funk,
Funk
baby.
and
What is it? Valerie, maybe?
yes, uh-huh,
Don't Stop Believing.
uh-huh.
What else do we always
They
hit?
dragged me for that because I was playing the ostinato part wrong once, and they're like, "You need to fix that."
Oh wow, like the like at the top of Don't Stop Believing.
Da-da-dun,
Oh yeah.
da-da-dun. I was playing it wrong, and they're like, "Stop that."
Oh, like the people at the wedding or
No,
like
no,
the
no, no,
people in
no.
your
They
band?
the band checked me. They're like, "You need to fix that."
Oh man, that's funny because I'm like, it really like when you have. I mean, like not to say that you have room to mess up on songs, but like when you have stuff and it is a exposed
You need to
part,
play this part. Yes.
like bro, you've got to play it. There was a song on like I did a wedding a couple of months ago, and there was I still forgot the name of the song, but it goes dun 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 dun
Oh, I played that wrong too
dun
the
dun
first time I
dun dun
played it.
dun 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 bop. So
Old time rock and roll.
yeah, so there was that song, and he was like, "Old Town Rock and Roll," and I was like, which one is that? Which one is that? Because I've got like a chart up, I've got like my eye reel up, but it's not the song. It just has
Mhm.
the and so like the guitar player is like oh, I was like, I got you, I got you.
Yeah.
So I would have messed that up. It's that's the thing about being well. I mean, like I think it's like certain musical instruments. It's like yo, you can't mess that up. You
Yeah.
can mess up in the middle of a song, kind of, and like hide behind, like the guitar player or whatever. Like if you don't know it, but
Yeah.
like those exposed songs will let you know.
Yeah.
They'll
Playing parts is absolutely a skill.
man, got you. So you doing but no, I was gonna say something to the point of a lot of times, like yeah, of course the corporate stuff in a way is kind of transactional. Like depends on who you're playing with. Depends on who you're playing with.
Yes.
If you have a good group of people, I was like, oh yeah,
I love my band. So
this
yeah.
is gonna be a great time.
Yeah.
But well, this one band system that I work with here, like they swap out musicians. Like
Mhm.
they'll send people like to like there will be multiple weddings under the same name.
Yeah.
Or like multiple events, but like under the same company name. So like I'll be with like one set of musicians this week, and then like the next week I'll be with somebody else, sort of
Yeah.
deal,
Like ours was like a big overall company that had different bands underneath. But
like
then
that.
it was the same band every week.
Oh, okay, got you,
So our group, we were called Signature. And so so pretty much you book as Signature, but we're under the umbrella of the bigger company, which was Wilson Field.
got you,
But yeah.
got you. But no, I was gonna say like a lot of times the gigs that don't like pay necessarily that great, like, but you go home and it's like, bro, that was so like it was like it's musically fulfilling
Yeah.
is what I say. It's like, man, I only got paid like 75 or like 150 or like it like you didn't get paid super, but man, like it's just like free and like or like whoever you're playing with, like yo, they were super on it and
Yeah.
that sort of vibe. So yeah, bro. Um when you were growing up, what kind of music were like your parents like playing in the house? Like what was like in your ears?
Mm. Ev- a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So like I said, my dad was playing a lot of jazz standards, a lot of big band stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we were listening to gospel. Shout out to like Fred Hammond's whole my mother like loves Fred Hammond and commission, so we were hearing all of that.
Okay, yeah.
Um a lot of 90s stuff. Um a lot of R&B. I was just listening to Alicia Keys' album in the gym earlier because that was something we grew up listening to. Mary J.
Which one?
Blige.
Uh
As I Am,
oh, okay, yeah.
phenomenal project. Um, Kindred, Family Soul. My mother listens to like El
Mm-hmm.
DeBarge and like Loose Ends, just like very, very
Got
like,
you. Okay,
kind
yeah.
of all over the place.
Yeah, got you.
Um, and then obviously all the stuff that you hear growing up as a church kid too. So all that stuff is just automatically in you. But
Right. Okay, dope, dope, dope. So what's in your ears like now? What's like the last few things that you've been
The
listening
last
to?
I
Yeah.
let me look at my Spotify.
Hmm.
I'm in kind of an interesting space now because I find sometimes I feel like when you get to a certain point in your music, you need to
Yeah.
take a mental break and
Hmm.
like not listen to music that makes you think because our ears are on all the time.
Bro,
Um,
I get that. I get
mhm.
that. I was just telling in the first episode, I was just telling him like when you're like, especially when you're like rehearsing for like a lot of stuff like at the same time, it's just like I don't want to listen to a lot of times I don't even want to listen to music. Like
No,
I'll just throw
driving in
on
silence is golden now.
like driving this or like I'll like listen to like a podcast or something like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
just give me something because then like if you're trying to listen to something that you kind of have to pay attention to, I'm like, I don't want to give it a disservice and not give it its full
Yeah.
attention. But yeah, man. So what's been so
Um,
what you been on lately?
whew, Renaissance by Beyonce is a
Hey,
phenomenal
bro.
project. I've never been a Beyonce person like that, but
Really?
this no, but then this album came out and I've been stuck.
I mean,
I
like,
hear
right?
new things about it every time. Mantic by Ro James.
Okay.
Um, I revisit Full Moon by Brandy every so often. That
Yeah.
and D7 are my constant go-tos. Um, let's see, Destined Comrades last album, Satin
Okay.
is been on repeat. Michael Mayo's Bones.
Okay. You're giving me a
Um,
lot of stuff to check out because half of this stuff I
yeah,
haven't heard of.
yeah. Black Vintage by Black Odyssey, great project.
Okay. All right.
I just revisited The Pimple Butterfly not too long ago, so
There we
it
go.
kind of varies all
Pepper
over the
butterflies on
place.
my wall on this wall. It's on
I
this wall.
have is it The Pimple Butterfly? No, it's what's the other one? What's the one before To Pimp a Butterfly?
Good kid, Mad
Good Kid,
City.
Mad
Yeah,
City. I
yeah,
have the record sitting
yeah,
in
yeah,
my
yeah.
yeah.
Do you feel like when you listen to music now, like, is it hard to like switch from I'm listening to it as a musician versus I'm listening to it like as a fan of music?
Oh no, the two coincide now.
Yeah.
I'm listening and if even if I'm a fan of the work, I'm listening to the vocals on the left side.
Oh
Oh,
man,
that's a stack over.
because you're an engineer too.
Yeah,
So
so
you
I'm
definitely like you like, yeah, that's a good mix.
no, yeah, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
great. This is so well done. This low end is like that's automatically going through my head at all times, anyways. Um, so I at least try to listen to stuff that I find enjoyable at the same time, so that if I have to be ears on, at least it's also stuff that I really like.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, because sometimes I'm listening to it. Like my dad, he'll like send me like I didn't grow up in a musical family, but my dad is like a super like musical fanatic. He'll ask me like intriguing questions about
Yeah.
like music. And like especially like if we're watching a video, he was like, okay, like say like he's watching like a Snarky Puppy video. He's like Michael Lee, he looked at him. But what did that mean? And then like he did this something. So does that sick? So
Mhm.
like he'll ask sort of questions like that. But like he'll send me, especially so like he'll like send me stuff and like I like almost analyze it because especially because like I had to do a lot of that sort of stuff in school. And he's like, bro, you
Right.
be breaking this stuff down, ain't you?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to, but yeah, it's just sometimes I wish I could like it's nice to like just turn it off and just kind of like just watch, but it's kind of hard to like
Yeah, you
not.
can't. There's always going to be an element of analysis.
Yeah, bro, I remember this one time I was in the car with my mom, my brother, and my dad, and there was like a radio mix. It was some radio mix, but it was like I forget which one came first, but it was the horn line from Uptown Funk You Up from Uptown Funk like the end, and then it went into Jam by Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's good.
The Uptown and I was like, I'm in the car freaking out, and I'm like,
That's crazy. No,
y'all
I
didn't
just
hear
heard it
that.
in my head. That's wild.
I
Yeah.
was like, y'all didn't hear that? But like, Zach, hey, come relax. But y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it because
Yeah.
it was it was really perfect.
Yeah.
I'll never
No,
forget
that
that
sounds
blend.
great. I just
I'll
hearing
never
you describing it, I'm like, ooh.
I'll ne- I'll never forget that blend. But yeah, bro. What's the first your first concert?
It might have been a piano recital when I
Oh,
was
I
in
mean like
piano lessons.
let me explain. But first concert
Oh.
that you went to, that you like attended.
Oh, first concert that I attended. don't know actually. It might have been my mentor's concert, but I'm thinking like first.
Like national, like I'm kind of
Yeah,
thinking
I'm
like
trying to think like a
national, like
big
recording
show.
artist. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh. I know I saw Xavier Omar in 2019
Okay,
in Boston. Huh. I saw Lucky Day this past year on his tour.
got you. So you weren't really like a big concert person, like when you were like
No,
in
I
high school
I'm
and stuff.
thinking back. I'm like, no, I didn't go to a ton of concerts. Hmm.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's I don't think I went to a ton of shows actually.
I try to encourage musicians. I'm like, bro, go see your favorite artist in
Yeah.
concert. Definitely go do that. You know,
Now it's such a
I
big
went to
thing.
school with Xavier Omar.
Oh,
I Xavier Omar. He used to be so
is
like
that
we so like I went to a private Christian school from
mm-hmm.
when I was 5 up until 6th grade. He went to that same school. Xavier is like 5 or 6 years older than me,
Mm-hmm.
but he went to that same school and he was in a and he had a music group. He had a he had a Christian hip hop music group
That's very
that
on
was in.
brand for him.
Have you heard LA?
No, I know he was in a group, but no.
He was in that's the group that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
anyway,
found
so
him when he
all
was Spazzy Rocket.
this was before. I don't know if he was Spazzy Rocket at this time. Spazzy Rocket might have been in the middle, or Spazzy Rocket, or he might have started Spazzy Rocket when he did the thing. But no, no, no. But Spazzy Rocket is still Xavier. But anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, so like we all went to school together, and so like there would be special events at our school. Sometimes, so they would perform at some stuff. There's some stuff that I would perform, especially when they found out that I could like, because like when I could play, you know. But Xavier's brother, Xavier Omar's brother, Jay Adams, he was the music minister at my church,
Mm.
and I took less like so like I came up to him. I was like, well, my mom saw like the youth choir, and she was like, you could play that, can't you? And I was like, huh. And so like I went up to the minister of music. I was like, hey, what do I need to do to play in the youth choir? And he started giving me lessons every
That's awesome.
Monday, like after school. So like yeah, so that's the connection that we
Yeah.
have. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't seen Xavier in a minute. Good people though. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, definitely. Who would you want to go see in concert besides Miss Carter? I'm sure. Besides,
Yeah, I do have to see that. Um, I'm mad I missed Givion's tour. I'm upset about that. The whole controversy with his vocal was hilarious. Um,
oh yeah, I was like, oh man, because I was watching this show. I was like, but I was like, you don't just do that.
no,
Like
it was
I was like,
funny.
I knew something was wrong. I was like,
Yeah.
you don't just
Yeah,
go
I
down.
felt bad because I knew it was just they moved the keys to his auto tune too early.
Yeah.
And
So
so
it was
then I'm
supposed to be shifted for the next song.
yeah,
That's
so
what
they
was happening.
shifted him to the next key too early, so the notes literally bent
Man,
to
that's
the wrong key. Like he went from B to G. Like the notes don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why it was thrown off. But nobody wanted to hear that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, of course. No one. Well, it's crazy because like I follow like a lot of musicians and like all the musicians are like, no, like they had like it was the engineer's fault. It wasn't Giveon. Like and then
yeah, but
so,
nobody people didn't want to hear that.
no, of course not. That's not entertaining.
No.
I met Giveon briefly because
Mm-hmm.
I played with Baby Rose for a little bit, and it was
Mm-hmm.
Snow Allegra, Baby Rose, and Giveon.
Mm,
So like I met him before he, you know, blew up. Nice guy.
yeah.
But yo, so
Um,
that's so yeah, so Beyonce, Giveon,
Beyonce. I think I wonder if it's too late for this. I really want to see Israel Houghton live.
Israel Houghton.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Lord, You Are Good
Because
was one of the first songs that I played at church.
Israel, his music, it's
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those artists that you listen to, like his live albums.
Yeah,
You listen to it and it almost sends chills up my spine because I can only imagine what the atmosphere was when they recorded it, just
yeah,
because of how heavy it sounds in the recording.
yeah,
He hasn't released any music in a while, I don't think, or any like an album, but I'd love at some point to see him just in concert and just to be present for that.
yeah. I
Um,
saw I went to go see Travis Green and he
mm,
brought Israel Houghton out and he did moving forward. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um.
that's a good that's a good mix up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else I would want to see. Chloe's coming this year, so I definitely I want I'm definitely because I'm trying to jump into the commercial space more. I definitely am keeping more up to date with commercial artists, just seeing what's happening, just in terms of how the music's being made. So,
Hmm.
I know Chloe's coming up with an album, so I'm sure she's going to go on tour this year or next year. So that probably be another artist I'd like to see.
Got you. So your main, so the main, like your main sort of vibe, or like what you listen to a lot, like you lean towards more of like the R&B, like kind of pop
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of
leaning
space.
more that way. I definitely do have some other influences, but right now, that's kind of where I'm trying to direct my focus.
I get you. Hey man, because those gigs are fun, and like that music is fun, especially if it has like the integrity of it, like it's not just like here's a 4 bar loop, do it. Like if it's like really like thought out,
Yeah.
it's really great. So yeah, bro, I love it. So I want you to tell me what is the best gig that you've had, and what's the worst gig that you've had, or the worst thing, or the worst and best things to happen on a gig.
Best gig I've had. Oh, definitely Canada. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Last summer, I
Yeah.
played. I went. Berklee sent us to this festival. It was like a 40,000 person festival, which is crazy.
Oh
And they
yeah.
got a slot. I played behind Brandon Harris,
Mm-hmm.
um, phenomenal vocalist, artist,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like at the top of the festival. And they gave us a slot, and we had like it might have been a half-hour slot. That was easily the most incredible gig to date, I think. Yeah, it was just really cool. And then for the rest of the week, we got VIP passes to go around. So I think it was more so that plus the atmosphere of I'm
Yeah.
sitting backstage watching Black perform, and then Black walks off stage and he hugs us, or I'm sitting in front of the entire crowd watching Big Sean and he's like Big Sean waves over.
Yeah.
Or watching Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa had the most incredible set I've ever seen. Dua Lipa might have been the best concert I've ever seen, actually.
Really.
Dua Lipa, her set was phenomenal. Just the stage lighting and just the way it all like worked together. Because
They had
she closed the
a
show.
she had a band, and like they were running like the stems and all that sort of
They were
stuff
running
too.
stems, but just stems. Was there a band? I don't know if there's a band, but just the set shifts and just the way that they turned that thing out, it was incredible to me.
I look at that sort of stuff and I'm like, I look at like the production and I look at like everything. I'm like, how much did this cost?
No, absolutely. Like
I'm like,
you're making a cool couple million to be up there, and then production costs.
yeah, because I'm like well, like there's this whole like Ticketmaster controversy thing too, but like
Yeah.
and like the Live Nation thing, but like because like I have a list of like all the like Atlanta venues and the capacity, so I'm like, if the low number is this, like for the lowest ticket cost and like the highest,
Mhm.
I'm like, how much are they making? But like I'm thinking like, yo, you've got to pay so many people,
Yeah, a
and
ton of
like,
people.
and I'm like, that screen is big.
Hmm.
That screen
And
is
it's lit so properly, and whoever produced what's on the screen, and then yeah.
like I'm not like a big show person. Like I'll do it like every now, like as far as like production and stuff. Like
Hmm.
the biggest, like Justin Bieber was a big show that I went to as far as production. I've seen Beyonce twice.
Hmm.
So production, those are super big, and those are but yeah, but everyone's different, and I'm like, man, but still like, wow, that like it's just like so much that goes into it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but no, that's cool though to be at a festival and like see all your artists and all that
Yeah.
sort of vibe.
Um,
So,
and then the
what
worst
is
gig.
worst gig, or like the worst thing to happen to you on a gig?
I have two stories.
All right, here we go.
Um, I trying to figure out how to phrase this for anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was performing behind a group in front of colleges, or a college, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I don't know why, um, the I was playing the song as I've always played, in front of these
Do
people.
you know what song this is?
Yeah,
What song is this?
that's too incriminating. because
Oh,
it's specific. I
it's
can't.
super specific. It's
It's
like
too
behind.
specific.
It's
Yeah,
like the artist's song or something like that.
yeah. We'll put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because
Um.
yeah, let's not. Yeah, let's not.
So yeah. So I'm performing. We're performing in front of this college,
Can
and
you describe the song though? Describe like get
it was
like
gospel.
the vibe. Okay, so this is
It
a
was
gospel.
gospel.
This is
Yeah,
a
it was
gospel
gospel.
gig. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Is you by yourself or you
No, no,
with
no, no,
group?
no. I'm playing with a said group of people.
I'm saying like is
Said
it like
ensemble of people.
I'm
Oh,
saying
go ahead.
like is it like bass and drums too or like just you
No, it
and
was just me.
vocals?
It was
So
just
just
me.
you and vocals.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
was
Okay.
just giving them a taste of what we do full out,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm playing piano. This is important here. I'm
Grand
playing.
piano.
No, no, I mean I'm playing like a keyboard, but I'm playing
Okay.
a piano patch. The
Okay.
same old piano patch. Full concert grand is loaded on this motif, right?
There we go.
And so we're playing this song, and I guess maybe the choir didn't sound right or something. But the director all of a sudden just turns to me, and then he's like yelling at me, "Put it on piano." Huh? And so for the second half of the song, he's like riding me, yelling at me in front of this choir, talking about put it on piano, put it on piano, and I don't know what he's saying. Um, and embarrasses me in front of this choir. And I'm like, and then afterwards, immediately turns around and hold on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Immediately turns around and we come off after we finish this performance. He finishes yelling at me in the middle of them singing this gospel song for me playing piano, the
Yeah.
same way I've
Yeah.
always played it. I didn't do anything wrong.
Didn't have
And
no
so
strings or nothing. No,
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 there was
no
no
chorus, no
no,
nothing.
no.
Just right there,
It was
straight, straight.
full piano. I storm off stage and not off stage, but I storm off and I like go because I'm like, you're gonna piss me off real bad, right? And so now he's sitting with the directors. Oof, sorry. He, whatever.
They
And I walk out because it's time to leave, and he goes in front of the directors, tell your parents I said hello.
like shadily or like
I don't it was almost like fronting in front of them, like you didn't just embarrass me for doing nothing wrong and to see how I reacted. So
so
now I have to keep it together in front of these people, in front of a college
so
after you just yelled at me for 4 minutes. Like like I mean, and when I say you like rode me for something that for something that wasn't my fault. I
and
don't know
something
what
that like it
it was.
and you didn't even really get to the root of like what the problem was
It was.
either.
It's not like I was playing the song on a roads today, or I was playing some wild patch that didn't make any sense. It was the piano patch. The piano patch. The first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um.
So did they tell you like specifically like what the problem was like afterwards?
Nope. He moved on. We're cool now.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean like
I,
hey, I guess
yeah, but that was probably the craziest thing that's happened. Or I did a corporate gig this past summer, and we were thinking it was going to be a regular gig, and then the wedding planner ends up being the wedding planner from hell. And
mm,
they don't communicate with the company, but she expected us to be there like 2 hours early for this gig, and which doesn't make any sense because we're coming from Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So we get there and she's immediately rude and nasty to everybody. She rides us the whole gig on everything.
mm.
And so I play legitimately from 3:30 to 11 o'clock with one break.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no.
No,
Oh
no, no, for
no.
sure.
Oh no.
Because yeah.
There aren't even enough songs in the world to do that.
So we had to do a cocktail hour and then do the regular gig. But then the couple claims it was an older couple. They claim that they requested overtime. We don't have any of this
Okay.
information. We get all this every week. It's an overtime gig, right? So we
Hmm.
give them an hour overtime, right? Mind you, the band only took one break. And then they say, oh, you only played for 40 minutes. We're not paying you the full hour. We end up getting paid, but the couple then turns around and does all that stuff. The valet was rude. It was the most wild event that I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There's always a couple wild ones.
Man, I'm telling you. Usually I was well, usually none of the communication for these sorts of gigs go straight to me when they're
Yeah.
because I'm not in charge of any of the corporate groups.
No, yeah, like that's not my job.
So
I
like
just
I'm
show
like
up.
so like every now and then like I'll hear something, but like it's just like I'm like you don't know what you want. You
Mm-hmm.
just hush. Just hush.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
no, but that's but nah, that's That's crazy. But you don't
Mhm.
have any. Well, no, those are horror stories enough. Those are horror stories enough.
Yeah, I don't have
Because
any like
I'm
super
like there have
bad.
been a few times like I've gone up and like I didn't go to the right key. Like I went up a half step and it was supposed to be a whole step. Like I did that on I Want to Dance with Somebody one time, and I went up.
Oh,
Yeah, I went up. This was a couple of years ago. I
yes.
knew it went up, but nah, I went up a half step and not a whole step, and so I was like, what are y'all doing? But I couldn't tell who. So like I think some people were adjusting for me, some people weren't, and so like I was like, nah, that was my fault.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got to save some stories because like this is only episode 2,
Yeah,
but
you got other stuff to,
yeah, but also this isn't about me. This is about the other people I'm interviewing. But that's ah,
Yeah, no, I feel that one.
I don't think I've had anyone like come to me like mad that like I didn't do. Oh man, there was this one time I did a wedding and like
Mhm.
I was communicating directly to the bride about it. The like the planner came up to me and was like, "Why do you think you should charge this amount?" And I'm like, "Yo, we discussed that 3 months ago. You so so they hounded me and I'm like, okay, that's not gonna happen again.
My rate is my rate.
That's not gonna happen again. But this was before like I would like stand firm on that sort of stuff. And this was like
Mhm.
when I was like, yeah, and like I just wasn't there yet. But I was like,
Yeah,
but it was a whole that was a whole
a
thing.
whole ordeal. Yeah, for sure.
It was a whole thing. So yeah, you play a lot with this artist named Langston Hughes.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Your role in the group, like what the style is, and like how you kind of came about to doing that sort of thing.
I, for podcast context, he's not related to Langston Hughes. Um,
That's good to know. That's good
yeah,
to
I
know
figured
because I was
that's
like,
that's one.
hmm, all
He's
right,
no relation to the Langston Hughes, the poet. Um, I met Langston in high school with said nonprofit I mentioned earlier, Fame.
yeah,
He went to a different high school than me, and I met him through they have the program has a jazz band and a jazz ensemble. I started
yeah,
with their smaller jazz ensemble, and we traveled and did a lot of stuff.
hmm
So I started working with him there, and then as Langston, who's a phenomenal sax player,
hmm
as he has blossomed, he kept calling me to do stuff. So since my junior year, we've been able to really build this bond and this connection.
hmm
Um, that's actually really special. Like he's definitely like we get together and just stuff just gets done. We
yeah,
because we work together now with this nonprofit on top of all the gigs and stuff too.
hmm
So just we've been able to do a lot of projects and things together just over time. I just saw him last night, funny enough. So
hmm
that's how that has come about. I've served as a great many things. I produced his first single, Where From Here, which released in 2021.
okay,
Yeah, I produced his first single. Um, and yeah, I've been his keys player. We didn't have a bass player for the longest time, so I was the one that was doing everything from walking bass and
hmm
backing everything and just kind of filling all the parts. To now he's moving in the direction of different. He's trying out different groups of people, but he has a trio.
yeah,
He has quartets and like quintets, or whatever. But I've moved now into definitely more soundscaping stuff with him. At
okay.
least for the last couple of gigs, we did Blues Alley in December.
And for the people at home, describe what that
Oh,
so
sorry,
soundscape.
Blues
Yeah, yeah.
Alley in DC.
No. I mean the
Oh,
soundscaping thing. The
soundscaping.
soundscaping thing. Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, because I am more of I mean, I think I call myself a keys player just because that embodies more of playing parts and playing sounds that aren't just piano.
hmm
I definitely do a lot more in terms of just pads and atmosphere and ambience and just setting all the ethereal extra stuff that might
Yeah,
surround the song.
yeah.
That's definitely been the space that I'm moving into now, depending on what the gig looks like. Should he
hmm
continue to call me, of course, because we don't assume gigs here. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what my role has been lately. But again, that it changes from gig to gig, from project to project. We've recorded several things together, so you know, it's
Yeah,
just a
man.
relationship, a bond at this point, which is
Got
cool to
you.
have.
Got
Yeah.
you. Are you looking to put your own project out? For the people at home, Julian is also a great singer as well. Like, yeah, he plays key, but he's also a a phenomenal singer.
Hmm.
So yeah.
No.
No?
I no. I think what I'm learning now is that when you're trying to pull all these different bags up at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more, you move a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas putting your effort into one thing at a time and kind of like growing different areas one thing at a time, I think it's less taxing that way.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that ultimately my biggest goal and my biggest what brings me the most joy is helping other people bring their visions to life.
Got you.
Um, so that's really what my big push is right now, because having to hone in and like having to focus on what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being so what I want to do is be that producer, be that person that you call to give you direction and give you insight. Maybe sit with you in the studio, help you vocal arrange, help you
Mm-hmm.
production arrange, play for you if you so desire. But I think I'm focusing in on the creative aspect of like seeing the vision, helping bring that vision to life. I do my own stuff just for my sanity, and for
Mm-hmm.
my own sense of expression. I think that's what's cool about like singing. Like I don't call
Right.
myself a singer
Mm-hmm.
because I leave that to the greats, but I do it as
Mm-hmm.
a form of expression because there's no pressure. Like there's pressure on me to play keys. I take that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think some of the other stuff is just that's for my own personal. So
Got you. So you have no desire of like this is Julian Wilson and this is like my band.
no,
That's
I
not
I
a thing for you.
no, I mean maybe if I'm not against taking a gig and performing, but I don't see myself now building a base around myself as a performer or as an artist. I don't necessarily see myself pursuing that in this current iteration of me. This is now. So we'll see
Got you.
what happens.
So
But
like, hey, so we'll check back in 2 years and it's gonna
yeah, I'm
yeah.
not gonna, limit anything. But right
But
now
as
that's
of
not
like
where my
right now,
focus
that's
is.
like
No.
that's interesting. It's good to be because I understand like doing multiple types of things at one time is like a lot of work, and it's more of a skill set to either just focus on a few things at once or like compartmentalize. Like,
Right.
okay, this is your project, this is your
Hmm.
project. Because when I'm kind of like when I have an idea, like that's like the first thing on my mind, and like that's what I am like thinking of like the whole time, and I'm like, no, I can't do that because I'm working on this, and so
Yeah, exactly. It's
it's a
like you
whole
can't
sort of
fully put yourself into it.
it's a whole sort of thing. So like, no, I totally get that. And then other people can be like, all right, no, well, I'm gonna just do this for a little bit, and then like at this time of the day, I'm gonna do that. And like, that's something that I definitely want to try to do because I think it's just like shifting. Like, okay, what's the focus for right now?
Yeah.
It's got to be like super kind of. You got to be organized to do that sort of
Yeah.
thing, basically. So like,
Absolutely.
all right, well, I'm not thinking about the album. I'm thinking about, or I'm not thinking about my album. I'm thinking about your album.
Your
No,
album,
or
which
it's
is
like
out,
you know,
which is on all streaming platforms.
the
Yeah.
introduction, baby. Appreciate it. But yeah, man. But that's super cool. That's super cool. All right. Top three national keyboard players.
National keyboard players.
Like as in like well known.
Hmm. I'm gonna throw Oscar in there because
Oscar Peterson.
shout out to Oscar
Okay.
Peterson. Yeah. Um. hmm. I mean, these are kind of cliche, but Corey Henry
Corey
and
Henry. Let's go.
Sean
All right.
Martin.
And Sean Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That that's a good list. That's a good list. No. Those are definitely Sean and Corey are always in my
Yeah.
top
They
five.
just. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't. You kind of just have to just. Yeah.
It is what it is, bro. I mean, like I
It
get
really
it.
is
I get it.
truly.
Man, I remember.
It's.
I think everyone remembers the first time they heard Lingus. I think.
I have a story about that.
Oh,
My
go ahead.
fresh
Go ahead.
my freshman year. Well, so I learned about that song in high school, but it's so funny going to Berklee. I was sitting in a classroom one day, and then I guess the song came on, but there was a lot of people. We were because you could sit in the classrooms after hours. I was sitting in a room, and there was a group of us just sitting in the room, and Lingus comes on, and then we get to the solo, and then everybody magically knows every line of the solo. So we're sitting there singing Corey Henry's solo
That's
in the
such a that's
classroom.
such a
It's
Berkeley
such
singer
a
sort of deal. I'm like,
I was like,
like
I've
you
never
just like you're like,
felt
oh man, like
more.
y'all just heard it and transcribed it. That's
He
such a
said, digga da digga da digga da digga da.
yeah.
Right. Oh, we sat there and sang the whole. It's like a 6 minute solo or something crazy
It's
like that.
it's 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 a while. But I think you know, but like I hope people know that like Corey Henry's not just Lingus. There's a group
No,
of people that
absolutely. Oh
there's
my
a group
gosh.
of people that
First of
think
all,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, there's a group of people that think that Corey's just Lingus and like Snarky Puppy. Like, please,
I found his
please,
alternate takes for that song,
absolutely,
and those
it's
make
on
me
the
even more
DVD.
mad.
If you have the DVD, I don't know if you can see my wall, but the We Like It Here vinyl is on the
Hmm.
it's up under Black Radio. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Caleb Shawn's
Woo!
solo was wild too on that.
Bro, I saw I saw Snarky Puppy at the Tabernacle in
Mhm.
2016. This was the day after Culture Vulture came out. But they
Uh,
ended the show. Caleb Shawn and Justin Stanton were on keys on that show.
mm.
Caleb Shawn did a Lingus solo on vocoder. You had to be there. But I also think I have a video. But you had to be there.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've seen a couple clips. I'm like, you're just as crazy.
Me?
No, I'm talking about Caleb.
I'm like, yeah, Caleb. Yeah, I was like,
Uh-huh.
no, not me. No, Caleb Shawn. Oh my gosh, Caleb Shawn McCann. He's
Yeah,
yeah, I love him. Yeah, but yeah, bro. So top three keyboard players that you know. Next up.
I know. Like my friends and such, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sure. Like shout him out. Like top three, or that just aren't Corey Henry, Sean Martin level yet, but like top three keyboard players that you know, like that you can call or like that you can text them, like, yo, this is my homie, but who's the top three keyboard players?
um, I'm gonna throw my mentor in there because always and forever, Kim Jordan. Um,
Who?
Kim Jordan.
Okay.
Um, my friend Lionel Johnson. I met him for the first time last year. We've been mutuals for a while. He's from the DC area, but he's up in Philly. Um, I've been playing with him more with Langston, and he makes me angry, actually, to be completely honest. Like we'll be on the gig and I'm just listening to him and it makes me upset. Like you ever want to just like throw something at somebody in the middle of the gig
There's a
for
keyboard.
comping. Like you're
I,
the way why are you playing like that? Like he makes me
there's
upset.
there's like one key. I'll tell you once it's done, but this
Mhm.
one person I grinds my gears.
Yeah, he makes
But
me angry.
I'll tell you who it is once we're done. But yeah.
Um and oof, I have a lot of keyboard homies, so this is like
If you
uh
want to do five, you can do five.
okay,
Okay.
cool. I'm gonna throw my friend Damas Zaromskas. He's from Lithuania.
Okay.
Met him at Berklee,
Yeah.
and he also makes me want to fight him all the
Yeah.
time. He's so humble. He's so talented. Um, keys players. Um, my friend Jaden Graves.
Okay.
He's from Memphis. I met him in Boston as well. Um, dang, I'm stuck on this fifth one. I don't want to. Who am I gonna throw number five in?
This is only going out to the world. So
I know,
if
right?
he didn't say your name, then uh,
No, y'all know I love you. You met Bobby, so we'll throw Bobby in as number five.
Bobby is dope. That was the first time I met him. Like,
Yeah,
because I don't know, because I didn't go to Berklee or anything. But like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, they were playing
Bobby Hall the
the third.
third. Yeah.
Because they were playing with Keon Harold, and it was
Yep.
who's the girl she played in the Berklee
Kyla.
on bass on
Kyla.
bass.
Kyla
Yeah,
Ray.
yeah, yeah. So it was her. Christian was on drums, and it was in like some horn. I was like, yo, y'all are
Yeah. Chris Poe and Brandon Volel, I think, were there.
yeah. So like just like the feel that y'all have on this sort of stuff is like super dope.
Yeah.
Okay, super group. You have it can be in whatever context that you want. It could be a concert, it could be a private party, but you are making your own super group. Who's on keys, bass, guitar, drums. If you want to throw horns in there, cool, but lead vocals. At least those five. What super group are you creating? These can be people you know, preferably national musicians, but like who's in your super group?
I'm gonna use my platform to shout out the people I know.
All right, go ahead,
Cool.
man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, uh, I'll do a mixed bag.
Okay. All right.
Um, Bryant Thomas,
Okay.
this
On.
he's the second on drums.
Okay.
Bryant is, we called him a chameleon last night. He is my go-to for everything.
Hmm.
Very easily the best drummer that I've ever worked with. Shout out to all my drummer friends. Bryant always is going to be like in my back pocket, right?
Yeah.
Um, a super band. I'm trying to think of a celebrity vocalist that I think. I'm trying to think of like singers.
And to be honest, it doesn't even need it. Last episode,
You know
my
who I really
oh
I
yeah, go
saw?
ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Um, Michael Kilgore
Okay.
as a vocalist. I don't know if I'm trying to
I'm not
think of
too
a
familiar.
vocalist. We opened for him, and when I tell you that is a phenomenal. I'm trying to think.
So Michael Kilgore and vocals. That your final answer?
That's not my final answer.
All right.
It popped through my head. I'm trying to think of. I don't want to be head ass with these answers. Can I? I'm sorry. Can I?
I'll mute it. I'll mute it.
Okay, sorry.
You did better than the last episode.
Okay,
I had to go.
I don't think I said anything so far. Okay, my bad.
I had to scrub. I had to.
Oh, okay, yeah, there shouldn't be anything in there. Um, Tag, my knowledge of people is absolutely ridiculous. On bass. Yikes, I'm fumbling on this question. Mm, my guy Micah Moffett is an incredible bassist.
Okay.
He was on tour with Joe last year, I do believe.
All the things all the things your man won't do.
Was that
Joe.
the name of it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. He was on tour with. I believe he was. I don't. I believe he was on tour with him last year.
yeah.
Him on bass, absolutely 1000%. Um, me on keys because of course, right?
Go ahead,
No.
man. Hey, that's a
Can I play in my own super group? No.
hey, that's a first, but also this is only the second episode. But go ahead.
I'm trying to think of what vocalist I want because I don't know what kind of gig this is.
Bro, it can be whatever
I
sort of
know.
deal
I'm
that you
trying to think.
want. Whatever sort of deal that you want.
I'm stuck on this vocalist because I like really niche, not niche, but like really like weird voices, like textured voices with texture to them.
Yeah.
Like Tank is one of my favorite male singers because his voice is just so like aggressive and interesting.
Yeah.
But also like Alex Isley is one of my favorite female vocalists.
Mm.
And she was great live. But I'm trying to think of somebody who can really like. But then like people like Brayla, who are crazy vocally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck. We're gonna say Kenyon Dixon's my vocalist.
Oh, okay. That's a good.
We're gonna
So
call it Kenyon Dixon. All right.
okay. Man.
Guitar. Josh Porter, guitar player from Berklee,
Okay.
phenomenal guitarist. Did I
Dope.
hit everything? Keys,
That
bass, guitar, vocal.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll do that.
And then you said and then you said
And then
drums
me.
first. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, then drums first. Yeah,
And you said yeah. Man, that's a good group, bro. That's a good group. Okay. Last question and we're out.
Last question.
What do you want to bring light to, or what do you want to say? This could be about anything. It could be about music, it could be about life, like whatever.
Just my final closing remarks to leave on
The
the
final yeah, yeah, yeah.
I tweeted this.
Be a
This
word of
morning.
encouragement,
Yeah, I tweeted
whatever.
this morning. Be kind to yourself today, right? That's really cliche. I mean, it's cliche,
Hey, but it works.
I tweeted it this morning, and it was really something that I need to remind myself of today.
Mm-hmm.
But just in general, because I mean, as I'm learning very quickly, life is just very, very short.
Right.
And just, even in the midst of just everything that might be going on, especially as a musician, there's
Mm.
a big propensity is the word I want to use. There's a yeah, propensity to,
Okay.
especially
Propensity
in
word of
between
the day.
seasons, of, if you're in between a season of a lot happening, or you're trying to figure it out, there's, it's easy to fall into mental spaces and to fall into just, being heavy to yourself. And I think a big part of success is being kind to yourself, even in moments that things are not going the way you want them to,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're not feeling the best, or even if you're doing, well, still being kind to yourself and being gentle to yourself and allowing yourself to experience the process of life and experience the process of whatever it is that you're, trying to pursue, even if it's not music, whoever, it could just be just in general, whatever you're pursuing, whether it's a law degree, whether it's just trying to be the best parent or whatever, allowing
Mm-hmm.
yourself to experience and just be in the process,
Yeah.
makes taking life, or walking through life, should I say, um, much easier. So yeah, just be kind to yourself today, especially if you're not usually kind to yourself. Try it.
That's
That's
good.
my closing
That's good.
closing
That's
remarks.
good. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Major Keys podcast. This is Julian Wilson, my maybe cousin, maybe brother. We'll see.
Maybe
We'll see.
cousin,
We'll
down the
see.
line.
We'll see.
We'll hit up an ancestry tree after this.
uh, tell them your socials and anything that you might want the people to look out for.
Yeah. You can find me everywhere at Julian W. Wilson. That's Julian WWILSON. Two W's. My website's julianwwilson.com. Um, yeah, just holler at me. Follow me. See what's going on. I'm around. I'm trying to do some new things this year. So yeah.
That's what's up. All right. Woo.